Hi, it's Matt. Thanks to entropy, everything eventually breaks. But you don't have to bin it.
You can fix it with 3D printing. Hi, I'm Morley, and I've been fixing things with 3D printing in Canada, and I have come here to London to fix things for strangers with 3D printing with Matt Gray.
Yes, he's invited me along. His video on his channel is going to be showing the fixes we've done today, will do today, and I'm going to show you in general what you can do yourself to stop putting things in the bin and actually fix them.
Let's go help some people.
We spent the day near King's Cross at University College London's MechSpace. Several people turned up throughout the day with repairs that suited both of our skills. You can see what Morley and I did in the video on his channel, but just as we'd started to pack down, we got one more visitor.
I was literally just saying that someone would probably turn up just past 5 o'clock.
I'm sorry.
This is Megan from a local business round the corner. She'd spotted our signs and had something that was a little bit too big to bring with her.
You'll see the problem in a second. It's like such a little simple problem. So this is the trailer that I'm trying to attach. And so this goes in there like that. And then this is meant to sit on here.
Right. I've got an idea. You 3D print a thing that you don't use this piece of metal, but you got the bolt here. So we've got a thing that clamps onto here. This bolt can tie it together. Yeah. And then bolt through. This ball joint will give it the left-right twisty motion that it'll need, because it needs all 6 degrees of freedom, otherwise it'll just wrench off. And it might not even need to be 3D printed. There might be just a commercial clamp you can buy, or a Jubilee clips or something that we can then bolt into that. Calipers are the key to design, because if you don't know how big your things are, you don't know if they'll fit together. So I'm coming back with some calipers so I can measure the width of the pipe that I need to clamp onto.
Oh yeah, it's a lot thinner than I expected. I thought it was more like 3/4 of an inch.
I don't know what that is in metric, but it's 16 mil. Rather than 3D printing or anything, I've seen certainly for scaffolding, you can get a clamp that's got a bar sticking out of it. So we need a clamp that's tiny with a bit of rod sticking out of it that we can screw into here. And it could just be a product off the shelf we can order, throw on the bike and be done with it. Because you don't have to be creative. You don't have to invent something. You can just put together parts. I don't know what I'm going to search for right now, but I'm going to do some Googling and I'll let you know what I come up with.
But it wasn't long until we had to finish printing the last part, pack up, and leave MechSpace. Luckily for Megan, I'll have time in a few days to work on a solution for her bike. I want to show you my process for 3D designing, but I should point out I'm completely self-taught. The part I made on the day was rather complicated, so I'll show you how I replicated this part for a friend who happened to text me a couple of days later. Before I go onto the computer, it's caliper time. I like to get all the measurements up front and then check them again a bit later. I'm only making a simplified version of this because it should still work. Now I've got the measurements, I'll open up Fusion, create a sketch on a plane, and let's draw the first circle using the circle tool. Click in the middle, pull it out a bit, and then type in the measurement and hit enter. To do the inside circle, it's pretty much the same as before, but because I don't know the diameter I want it to be, I'll click again, and then use the sketch dimension tool, and by clicking the circumference of the first one and the circumference of the second one, I can then tell it the measurement I want between the two things I clicked. Next, I'll make some guidelines to align the circles I'll use to make the pins. What I've done here is I've got the line tool, I've set the line type to construction line. That draws these dotted lines, which aren't going to be part of the final shape, but are there to help us with our design. With the line type back to normal, I can then use the circle tool on the guideline we made to make sure it stays aligned. At this point, I'm not worrying about the exact placement as long as it's on the line and at the right diameter. If I was drawing more than 4 of them, then I'd learn how to use the tool that can create multiple copies of a thing and evenly space them, but there's only 4, it's pretty quick. To get the position right, I'm using the sketch dimension tool again. I click in the middle of the circle this time because I measured from there to the outside of the piece. With our 2D sketch done, we now need to make a 3D object. To do that, I'm going to use the extrude tool. That'll take any selected faces on the sketch and let us pull them or push them through to make something 3D. In this case, I want to pull it down and it says minus in that box, so I'm going to type in my dimension, minus 3.5. And after an extrusion, it always hides the sketch, so I'll go in there and show it again. Select the 4 pins and extrude them up. You don't always have to type in a dimension, so I'll drag up to 6 mil and press enter. We're nearly there, it's looking like the part. Next, I'm going to select the end profiles of the 4 pins and use the chamfer tool to make it easier for them to go in the holes that they're going to go into. That's the design pretty much done, but the final thing I like to do is add a fillet to any sharp edges. A fillet's basically a rounded chamfer, and not only does it make the part feel better in the hand, but it also helps it come off the print bed more easily. The speed at which you can prototype something is a big reason why so many people love 3D printing. With the part done, I could see that the pins were slightly too far apart, so I took a different measurement to work out their placement. The great thing about Fusion is that if you change a dimension in a sketch, it propagates through everything you already did, leaving you with an instantly fixed model. I posted this new version to my friend, and it worked! What a success! With that sorted, let's go shopping for Megan. This is one of those things where you don't need a 3D printer, fancy design software, or anything like that. You can go into a hardware shop and look for things about the right size, maybe bring something to measure them, and see if they fit together.
So looking at and playing with some stuff in here, I've just put everything back, but I've worked out one of these Munson rings, that'll clamp onto the rod. It's got an M10 thread in it, so that's a 10mm wide bolt that will go into it. And then in the hardware section around here, I saw these eye screws, and I was thinking, well, if I can get one of those eyes with an M10 thread on the end of it, then I can connect the two together and the bolt can thread through it. And I think that should be a reasonably solid connection.
I was wrong. M10 eye bolts have massive eyes, it would just jiggle around and I didn't think it'd be appropriate, so I sent them back. I'll just 3D print something instead. It's a few days later and I've come back to the office near the MechSpace where I've got a fix for that bike trailer. Let's see if it works. I made this part with 2 side holes, a big one for the bike and a small one for the hitch. It splits in half and there's a hole down the middle for a bolt to clamp it tight.
Yay, that one fits as well.
There we go.
Yay!
Just wait till I tell the Megan. Really, really appreciate it.
The one thing you don't need to fix or customize your own stuff is permission. I took inspiration from creators like Laura Kampf and Casey Neistat, who are never afraid to make something their own. Misusing things from a hardware shop may not have worked this time, but it's absolutely worth a try. As well as the usual glues and tapes, have a look out for moldable plastic pellets or moldable glues, which can be great for repairs, especially when you don't have access to a 3D printer. But if you still want to print something, you can grab the model's STL file and send it over to a company who'll print it for you.
This is Jeffrey Trout, held captive in the advertising cupboard. Happy 9th anniversary PCBWay. Not only do they manufacture PCBs, but they also provide 3D printing services along with CNC machining, sheet metal fabrication and injection molding. And there's currently a 9th anniversary sale. That's Jeffrey Trout out. Someone please let me out.
All right, so we got kicked out of the MechSpace because we went pretty much past the end of our time allotted there.
It was by about 10 minutes just because that print finished, and then we had to clear up, tidy up and then move everything out. So thank you very much to UCL for letting us use your space, even though we ran over a little bit.
Yeah.
Thank you for the opportunity to see repair cafes in action the way you do it. I hope from this you've got some ideas that you can use to try and fix your stuff. How did your day go?
It was fun, yeah. It was a little stressful, as these things always are. People are always very appreciative, and it's always very good vibes because you're doing things for people and they're learning, and everyone's just generally in a very positive state of mind. So even if it is stressful, it's good stress, and it's nice that there are like no monetary stakes, attached during the day.
Cool, so where can people find you?
Morley Kurt everywhere. Google me, baby.
Or just click the link. The link will be in the thing.
Yeah.
Shall we have some dinner?
Let's eat. Thanks, man.
Where did you come from, by the way?
Oh, there's a really deep manhole just... Sorry.